When you think of the Lexus NX, you probably think of a nice compact crossover that will take you to places like the grocery store and the mall and the winery and work, and not something like a motorsport event. But we're here at a Rallycross that Out Motorsports is hosting, and I have a Lexus NX that's obviously quite dirty. So let's talk about what this car is and what I'm doing with it. This is Out Motorsports, the channel for cars as you are. My name is Jake, and we are here at the Out Motorsports Rainbow Road Rallycross at Summit Point Raceway with the 2023 Lexus NX 350. All right, so some basic details about this 2023 Lexus NX 350. This is an all-new vehicle for 2022. They didn't really do a whole lot for 2023, but the big deal is some new powertrains, a brand new lovely infotainment system, and of course an updated interior. And I'm not going to talk about any of that because it doesn't matter when you're out here in the dirt. But this is the NX 350, so this is the corporate 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, in this case 275 horsepower and 316 pound-feet of torque. And that is paired to an 8-speed torque converter automatic that in this case only sometimes listens to you, and an all-wheel drive system. So this is on the TNGA K platform, which will mean nothing to anybody, but all that to say, this is shared platform with a lot of other Toyotas and Lexuses, but especially in this case, this is most closely related to the Toyota RAV4 and the Toyota Venza. So they offer other drivetrains. They offer a regular hybrid and a plug-in hybrid. This one is just the gas-only Turbo 4. There's also a naturally aspirated 4 if you want to get everywhere slower. But in this case, we were just here. I somehow convinced Lexus to let me Rallycross this thing, and Rallycross is all about control. Power doesn't necessarily matter, so I don't need the hybrid or the PHEV here. 316 pound-feet, 275 horsepower is all plenty. Before we get out on the Rallycross course, a couple other important things. This NX 350 is the F Sport, which means, most importantly, it's got adaptive dampers, so they can be softer or stiffer based on your drive mode selection. And the other thing going on here, just to talk about tire choice, again, not important for the sake of Rallycross, because you're never gonna do that with one of these. However, this car is on Bridgestone Alenza all-season tires. Now, I've got the Alenza on my Porsche Cayenne. It is a good tire. It is a luxury SUV tire tuned for highways and comfort, not for doing this. So again, this is like a fish out of water today. However, we're gonna get out on the course, talk about how this thing is, because you can truly Rallycross or do amateur motorsport in just about any vehicle. And that's why this is here with this course with everyone else. You can see behind me as we're sending cars, we've got an ex-cop car Ford Crown Vic, followed by a Honda CR-V with a little bit of a lift kit, and a PT Cruiser going by. So yes, you can do this, you can sharpen your skills, you can do it with literally anything, and that's why I've got this Lexus here. So let's get out on the course, talk about how it is as a Rallycross toy. This is Saturday's course, which was faster and more wide open of the two, although it was bumpier. Here I left the NX in drive and brake torqued it away from the line with traction control off, which is the only time you'll see this done in an NX. The traction control does turn back on above a certain wheel speed, but this technique did help overall with my launch. I set the drive mode to custom to allow throttle response and steering to be at their sportiest, but the suspension to stay in full soft. Away from the line, I moved out pretty well with minimal slip, and the NX here responds well through these more smooth corners. Braking in general was pretty good, although I didn't need to get into the brakes super hard for the most part. The NX's biggest downfall was just taking so long to respond when I got back on throttle and asked for more power. There's lag programmed in here, and the turbo also takes a little time to spool back up. Now, this course was fairly bumpy, and the suspension being soft did do a nice job soaking up imperfections and letting the body move around without feeling too uncontrolled. The all-wheel drive did help, sort of. The car generally feels very front-biased. Late braking and lift and throttle oversteer were the way to make the NX 350 pivot. Saturday's course started off super muddy thanks to some rain, which really meant no cars were doing well per se. Here the Bridgestone Alenza tires were the biggest downfall, although everyone's tires were not doing well, and even folks with all-terrains and snow tires were having a lot of issues despite going a little faster in general. Now thankfully the weather behaved. The course you just saw me run was dry, and we also met Sunday with plenty of sun and a new dry course. Here we are on Sunday's course, which was ultimately faster in spots and slower in others. I used the same techniques as on Saturday with drive mode and launch procedures, but the Lexus didn't perform as well overall here, given this course had some tighter technical bits like the S-curve you'll see toward the start. So away from the line, the NX's roots and programming are fine, and then they are ultimately exposed as you get into these corners. The transmission upshifts to a higher gear, and manual mode is really more of a recommendation. The slow throttle response just doesn't help things either. I got around all this by matting the pedal to hit the kickdown switch, which did force it into first gear. Now, the all-wheel drive system here in the NX is more of a slip and grip setup than anything, so power going to the rear is a little delayed and contributes to some front-end plow when the turbo spools and you really push things. Now, this final corner I could dive into and get a teeny tiny bit of Scandinavian flick action, but I had to provide all my inputs well in advance to make that happen. So then, would I recommend a Lexus NX 350 as a rallycross machine? I probably wouldn't. But if it's what you had and you wanted to get a taste of motorsport, be it rallycross or autocross or even a track day, your 2023 Lexus NX 350 would honestly do just fine. This all goes to show that you can sharpen your skills and have some fun in just about any vehicle. And if you've made excuses in the past for not coming out to an event, just sign up and give it a shot.
That was f***ing flying.
Oh, I love it. It was too much fun. Oh my god.
All right, and that is it for this Rallycross review of the 2023 Lexus NX 350. It's a super windy day. It's dusty everywhere, including inside the car. Thank you so much for coming along. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe right here on YouTube. If this all looks like a ton of fun to you, check out outmotorsports.com. We've got more of these, not only at Summit Point, but at other locations across the country throughout the year. We would love to have you in person, and we've got a whole community online if you'd like to join a growing community of LGBT automotive enthusiasts and motorsports competitors. Outmotorsports.com. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you so much for coming along. Till next time, please stay safe, be well. See you again soon.